Hey there. So today I want to share with you a couple of really beautiful things that I think may fill you with some wonder and heart energy and beauty like they're filling me. First of all, I'm wearing my little Mamma Mia overalls. I loved the Mamma Mia movie. It was so beautiful and it was really just heartwarming. It's heartwarming to see and feel the connection that we really can have between one another and that goes on even after we've passed or had a loved one that has passed. So this summer we've talked a little bit about transition, and particularly for me, like the summertime transition, and it's passed so fast, and we're on the verge of another transition into fall, back to school. Mamma Mia addresses the transition of when a loved one passes on, and at some point maybe I'll share some beautiful stories that I have around that type of transition as well. Really, no matter what transition me or you may be going through, the truth is, through our hearts, we're all connected and we're in it together, and we're moving through a time period that is a transition from the Piscean age to the Aquarian age. Where we're going to live in a way that is more connected, where we really feel and honor the connection that we have through our hearts. We're kind of moving from this space where we really give the brain all the credit and our intellect all the credit, and we're really pulling that down, connecting it in with our heart and listening to this, our wisdom center, where our intuition really brings in information and connects in with the whole. I myself this morning was feeling a little bit of a transition. We've had a lot of people around. It's been pretty busy, and this week my kiddos are at camp and Jordan was off to work, and one of my things kind of shifted around this morning, so I ended up home with no plans and just by myself. I felt anxious. Creative, yes, lots of creativity. I could do this, I could do that. Oh, and I want to do this, and I've got all this stuff, right, to do, to be creative doing. But there was anxiety there. So I did what any poet would do, and I sat down and wrote a poem about what I was feeling, and the poem really brought me through to, for me, what is more and more my solution during times of transition, stress, frustration, whatever I might be experiencing, even like kind of that boredom, but there's something I want to do, but there's so much, indecision. Ooh, that's a great one. What to do when these types of energies, these frequencies, that's a great F word, are present within us. And we all have it. It's fueled by some fear, by this feeling of, I'm not good enough unless I do this, or create this. But what about what the heart says? What about sinking in to stillness, to listening, to connection with the divine that is in us, around us, through us, as us, that will create beautiful synchronistic moments. Synchronicity soars on our behalf when we align and allow. So I'm going to read my poem to you guys. I will write it up and share it that way as well, but I just love the sound of poetry. I think it's soothing in and of itself. So I invite you to either, pause and come back, or just listen now, but maybe at some point, if you can, sit down and take some deep breaths. Just really center yourself and open your heart to hear, to relate, to be soothed by the beautiful poetry into what is available to all of us when we sit and center and calibrate and focus our frequency on being, just being, until we're guided with clarity and clear choice and inspiration. So it starts. I don't know what to do with myself at home, alone. Everyone else who's been here is now gone. The energy, it oscillates between strong and weak. One minute I'm tired, the next my interest is piqued. I feel the creativity pulsing in my veins, aggravating, pulling, calling my name. Feels like a touch of sin. And I think there is some of that too. Sin just means thoughts that need to be renewed. So first I sit and be, breathe, meditate, align, and set free. Feel my Satnam, letting go of it all. Intentionally releasing for a time. I changed all that when I wrote it up, so it's going to be different if you read it, but that's okay. And I calibrate. I center and gently release. The anxiety suddenly begins to cease. At once I become clear that I'm not really alone, that deep inside there is a well-socialized home where I find more peace and more calm, where creativity is soothed and flows more like a song, beautiful and sweet, bubbling up with ease. If this is what I'm really here for, I say, yes, please. Maybe I'm worthy of spending my days just like this. After all, feeling this present is at the top of my list. So rather than wonder what with my creativity I should do, I will surrender to this bliss, and to thine own self be true. From here I know I'll be gently guided along my path, divine timing, order, and ease, plus inspired action that comes from peace at last. That's just my little poetic way of acknowledging this creativity that sometimes actually is fueled by something that makes it feel like anxiety. And then I call it sin, and I then redefine sin to mean just thoughts that need to be renewed. And I love this because there's actually some synchronicity I just realized in my day after reading it again. I talk about those couple of things, and then I talk about the feeling of ease and like a song. All of that and being present is at the top of my list. Well, after writing this, I was still feeling a little of that. You know, I didn't feel like it was just free. I'm so clear now. This is what I'm gonna do with my day. I didn't. I did sit. I did some breathing. I took my dogs outside, and I realized that before doing more of a longer sitting and meditative practice, I was hungry. So I fixed some food, and I sat down in front of my TV, and I pulled it up. What am I gonna watch? And my heart leapt when I saw this Gaia documentary called The Power of the Heart, I believe. And so I started watching it, and of course, you know, it was so beautiful. And the synchronicity is it talks about, it's a couple and their daughter passed from a car crash. And she donated her organs to different people, and this older woman got her heart, and they were meeting her, and they found in the daughter's drawer a bucket list. And this woman that got her heart had done a lot of the things on the bucket list. So that's the list, you know, and they were continue doing the things on the list in honor of the young girl who passed on. It was just really beautiful, so heartwarming. And then I realized I talk about my list, you know, what is on my bucket list. And for me, it's being present and having peace that fuels pretty much anything that I do. And so what's on your bucket list? That's a great question to ask. And then a couple of other things from the little documentary. It was so beautiful. It tells the story of this tribe in Africa that experienced a genocide and one of the survivors. And she talks about freedom through forgiveness. And she also paints this picture. You actually kind of see a dramatization of her experience where she got so angry. She was trapped in this bathroom hiding for 3 months. And a couple times they came to look. And after each time, she just felt herself being so angry. And the first time, she quickly was able to elevate her thoughts. She realized it was in her thoughts. It was creating a body experience. So why have those thoughts? So she stopped and she felt better. And then it happened again after the next raid. And it took her a longer time. But she finally realized that it was in her thoughts that she could choose. And it was based on that how she would feel in her body. And so she set herself free. And she also set the men free who had done all of the genocide and the killing. And it's just a really beautiful, beautiful story about the power of forgiveness. And really the power of our thoughts and the power of presence. Also, the last thing I'll share about the video, I highly recommend, if you're interested in living a more heart-centered life, that you watch this video. And Mark Nepo is also in it, and he talks about living simply with patience and compassion. And I just really appreciated that a lot. It reminded me that in my day where I don't have people around me, but I have lots of opportunities of things I could do, how do I just stop and sink in and be guided through my day so that I'm living simply? I'm patient, even to wait for that inspiration to move, to act. I can be more, sit still more, wait more. And I'm compassionate, that I can be with myself amidst even the feelings of anxiety or uncertainty or loneliness, and move through that just because I'm there with myself. But not force myself through it. Just let the force take me through as I just sit with it and let it be and move energy and motion. And be with my little pumpkins. So this is Shiner Brock. I can just be with my little dogs and be with myself and my flowers and have a really beauty-filled day. And what more can we really ask for? I think sometimes I would ask for a lot more exciting day with people and adventure and ... because I think it maybe is more valued in our society. But guess what? We get to set the bar for what our value really is and the value of how we spend our days and what that really means. We get to reorganize that so that we assess value based on how something feels inside of us. And we get to cultivate the feelings that we want to feel as well. So I'm so grateful because I have the time and the space and even the wisdom and the resources like this amazing documentary to support me in cultivating these feelings, and I'm living a more peaceful, present life at the top of my bucket list. I think that's about it for today. I just thank you for watching. I hope this blesses you, and I hope that you receive all the support you need to live a heart-centered life for yourself and for our world, and that synchronicity will soar. And if that starts to happen in your life, begin to share. I would love to hear what synchronicities are soaring for you. Thank you so much for joining me. Sat Nam. Truth is my identity. My identity is truth. Sat Nam.